Good night, teacher. My name is Andrea Loor, and this is my ID card. Right now, I'm going to explain relationships between culture, identity, language, and thinking. It is worth mentioning that we are working with Unit 2, Linguistic Relativism. According to Wilhelm von Humboldt, 19th century, the diversity of language is not a diversity of signs and sounds, but a diversity of views of the world. Also, he said, language is the fabric of thought, and that's one's thoughts are produced as a result of an internal dialogue of a person in their native language. Language, culture, and communication. We have a graphic. Culture. Culture is refers people's culture is reflected in the language they employ. Second, language is the expression of the spirit of a nation, and the language structure influences the way in which speakers of that language view the world. And the last one, we have thinking. People speak differently because they think differently, and that they think differently because their language offers them varied ways of expressing the world around. The different ways of looking at culture and its relationships with language and the view how it affects language user result in a theory known as linguistic relativism. Linguistic relativism basically explains that people speak differently because they think differently, and that they think differently because their language offers them varied ways of expressing the world around. Linguistic relative theory. The linguistic relative theory was outlined simultaneously by two scientists, Edward Sapir, 1858, 1942, and Benjamin Lee Worth, 1897, 1941. Now it is known as a Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Main points of Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. We have three. The first set, language individual using a speech community influences the manner in which he/she thinks and behaves. Second, different languages can lead people to different actions because language shapes their perception and the way they categorize experience. And the last one, we have a speaker of different languages interpret events differently and have different concepts underlying the words. Well, now to exemplify the hypothesis, I'm going to present you some examples. Our language reflects our own thinking and is closely related with our daily life needs. There are things, objects, daily activity, notions that are very important for our culture have their names and are reflected in the language we employ. The first example said, in our Ecuadorian word, we have the word chévere, which means how good, how beautiful, how good. It is equivalent to good, pleasant, great, excellent, funny, interesting, full, and incredible. This happens because this word constituted an important part of Ecuadorian culture, and this importance is reflected in the language that Ecuadorians use. The second example, Korean and Japanese are similar languages because they were influenced by mainland China since ancient times. There are many words that are influenced by the pronunciation of Chinese characters that were used connecting Korea and Japan. We have different reading. Ryori versus yori means food. In Japanese, it is ryori, and in Korean, it is yori. Japanese cuisine focuses on extracting fresh flavor from ingredients, but Korean food has a more intense and spicy flavor. The third example, Middle East and Near East Israel. The concepts of Middle East and Near East are often used in Spanish as synonyms, but they have linguistics and geographical differences. Middle East and Near East are not entirely the same. Although the two concepts are used synonymously in Spanish, they have linguistic and geographical differences. The distinction is almost exclusive to Spanish, but concepts are combined. For example, in Middle East, English, Modern Orient French, which also speaks of French Orient, or Near East in Italian and Portuguese. Likewise, the region has also led to generalizations about Islam when not all its inhabitants are Muslim. In fact, Israel is a state with a Jewish majority, and there are Christians in the Middle East and followers of the other religions. Even within Islam, there are different currents, the Sunni and Shia being the most important. We have the last one example, Spain and Latin America. Also, we are separated by thousands of kilometers. In Spain and Latin America, we have something that united us about all, language. If you travel to Chile or Mexico, for example, you will have a very, very easy time getting along with the locals. However, in the similarities, there are also differences that, although they make us be much closer to this country, they also entail a problem of understanding. We have the first word, argolla, while in Spain, we can easily use a ring to hold curtains. For example, in Latin America, it has a deeper meaning, and for them, the ring is an engagement ring. Be careful with committing to the first person you see there. Excuse me. The second word, we have pitillo. Do you like to smoke? If you are one of those who do, avoid ordering a cigarette in some Latin American countries. If you don't want to get a "what happened here" face, and in some Latin America places like Cuba or Colombia, a straw means what here in Spain we know as a straw, a thing to use it to sleep liquids. Well, that's all. Thank you so much for your attention, teacher.